Whoa! Alright, finally live. I guess we should just hang out and wait until some people jumped in. We're telling your followers that you started a live video. Well, I guess that's good to know. Hey, welcome! I'm in a wave. What's going on? I can't pronounce that. Okay, 10 others joined. How you going, guys? I hope everyone's having a good morning and you've got your coffee. Actually, I don't know what time of the world that we're in currently where you are, but a few people saying hello. Originally, I was going to do this outside in the garden so I could stand up and move a little bit, but it's terrible weather here today in Adelaide, so we just opted to set up indoors, coffee in hand, and ready to answer some questions. Thank you, bro. It's 11 in Ireland. Oh, good to know. England too. Oh, nice. Wow, it's just crazy to think that people are just tuning in from over the world. Big fan, thanks to the audience. Awesome. Guys, thank you. Oh, I'm from Vancouver as well. That's cool. Boston, man. Wow, we really are global here. All right, guys, start me off. Who's got a question? What are we looking for here? So today I just wanted to put this thing together just to give you guys a little bit of interaction, answer some questions, all about boxing. As you know, we've got the day one fundamentals boxing course launching this Friday. So I just wanted to take the opportunity just to kind of like give back and share with you guys some of the knowledge and things that I've gained over the years. So where are we going to start off? We got Netherlands, we got Brazil. Not seeing any questions come through. Come on, guys, you got to give me something to talk about here. Pints or schooners? I love that the first question is about beer. Hi sir, I like boxing but no time to go to the gym for sparring. Is practicing shadow boxing, Cobra Brag, etc. help for self-defense? Okay, so the thing about self-defense is there is a very clear difference between kind of like competitive sport and then what we call violence. Now, violence is something that happens in the street. There are no rules. So when it comes to practicing martial arts for self-defense, martial arts that incorporate sparring is going to be the best thing for that because it's the closest thing to replicating a live scenario, although it is well controlled in that sense. I wouldn't actually say that just working shadow boxing and on a Cobra bag or a double-ended bag would do that. But what it will do is help you develop technique, help you develop your timing, and those are things that you will be able to take into class and use in sparring. Okay, I'm going to crawl through. Big ups from New Zealand. I got my first white collar fight on Sunday. How do I manage my energy levels during the fight? This is a great question. So when it comes to first fights, what you need to know is you are 100% going to be nervous. I still remember my first fight. I almost threw up out the back. I was sitting in the back room, getting ready to go out, going like hyperventilating in the corner, thinking, man, I don't know if I'm ready to go into this. And my coach gave me some really valuable advice. When you feel those nerves start to rise, what you have to do is kind of push that out immediately. Take the moment, close your eyes, take 2 to 3 deep breaths, recenter yourself, and then just picture that initial exchange in the ring. If you do that, your nerves will settle. When you open your eyes, you'll feel a lot more calm and ready to go. Hope that helps. What are the best drills to improve your defense work? So defense has 3 pillars. There's 3 pillars of defense. So we got to look at our hand positioning, our head movement, and our footwork. They all have their importance and they all have different times that we would utilize them. So for hand positioning, we're talking about our last line of defense, which would be a high guard or blocks. We also have our parries in that. For head movement, obviously we're looking at getting our head out of the range of the punch, so we're on a mid-range there. I think the most valuable thing to practice in defense though is our footwork. So my first point of call, if someone's throwing a punch at me, rather than trying to block it or move my head out the way, I would rather my head not be there. And that comes down to our feet. So you need to be practicing a combination of all these things to get used to the timing of different defensive reactions for different scenarios. Something that you would set up is basically a simple drill like you and your partner and just work on each individual punch first. Just say we're working on our jab defense, okay? They're going to go through, they're just going to throw consistent jabs on a rhythm. And now you can get used to either parrying the jab, blocking the jab, slipping it, stepping to the side, or stepping back. Then you can repeat this for the cross, the left hook, the right hook, the uppercuts, the body shots, all of these things. Once you've done that, you want to progress through and start looking at basic combinations. So starting to get comfortable with someone throwing basic combinations towards you. Defense on the 1-2, defense on the 1-2-3, defense on the jab, uppercut, all those things. Then once you get comfortable with that, then you can start to increase the drill and start making them counter drills. So you defend a combination, you counter back with something. So now you're thinking about defense and then countering straight into offense. What is the best way to transfer and change your boxing footwork to transition to MMA? Ooh, I like this. So one thing I will say about boxing footwork, boxing footwork converting to MMA footwork over say like Muay Thai or kickboxing, is that it's slightly more applicable. The stance is definitely more similar for boxing between MMA than it is like say Muay Thai between MMA. Footwork fundamentals stay the same, but our footwork and our base positioning depends on what weapons we are looking to use. So the difference between your boxing footwork and your MMA footwork is you will just be a little bit wider because you still want the ability to kick, okay? And you want to be a little bit lower because now we've got the introduction of takedowns, so we're looking at level changes as well. So we're not just feinting in and out, focusing on our hands. We need to be thinking about the level change down for the takedowns. Footwork fundamentals stay the same though. Whenever you're moving feet, rule number one, whatever foot is closest to that direction moves first, okay? So that's universal. Whether you're doing boxing, Muay Thai, MMA, any striking sport, we want to make sure we're maintaining our base. So transferring your footwork, boxing footwork over to MMA really is just a stance change. The rest of the fundamentals stay the same. This is a good question. Sparring intensity and preventing damage over your life. Okay, I think you mean like CTE there. So sparring intensities, my personal preference, like I've gone through training camps where we do hard sparring 3 to 5 times a week, or three to 4 times a week. And then I've gone through training camps where we've done, hard sparring only the last few times before a fight and everything else was more playful. Playful in the sense of just like you're not just sitting there throwing things slow. There is a difference between say like power on shots and intensity. So you can keep the intensity and the work rate in a sparring round quite high, but also with your training partner hold the safety and understand that you guys don't want to be eating 35, 40 shots around consistently for an hour 3 times a week, and then you get to the fight and all of a sudden you've just got a 3-day headache. So I'm a big believer in timing your sparring in the sense where keep the power down a little bit more, okay, and get more time in. Get more time in looking at the reactions without like kind of the stress of like thinking that I'm gonna get concussed from this every time I walk in the gym. It doesn't have to be about trying to kill each other every session. At the end of the day, we do sparring to prepare ourselves for a fight or just to practice our skills. There's no belts on the line in sparring, so keep the intensity high, keep the power down. What we got here? Jesus. Hi Luke, thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I can't share my coffee though, that doesn't fit through the camera. Asked my question 3 times. What was your question? I can't find it, sorry, there's a lot coming through. I'll scroll back up, one moment. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on. Where is it? How to deal with burnout. Okay, so burnout, mentally, physically, or emotionally. There's 3 types. Okay, this is a really cool thing that not a lot of people get into when it comes to training. Is there's 3 types. When you're training hard, there are 3 types of stress we put on the body, and they all require 3 different methods of recovery. So we have physical stress. This is the only one we generally think about. Like I'm training too hard. I need to do an ice bath, do some stretching, get a massage, all those things. But you also have mental stress from having to be switched on all the time. So in order to recover from that, a massage isn't going to do much. You need to do something that switches your brain off. You need to, this is where you have to look at either meditation, or one of my favorite things to do when I was like mentally stressed and fatigued is just do something where I could put music on, enter a flow state, and actually let my brain recover for an evening. And just not have to think about training and think about fighting. So that's important. That's your recovery there. And then you also have emotional stress because it plays on your emotions when you're in a fight camp. So emotional recovery is just doing something that, once again, takes your mind off it. It makes you feel really good. So that's spending time with friends. That's, like taking your dog for a walk. It's all those things. So when we talk about burnout, we do have 3 types of stress that we're looking at: physical, mental and emotional, and they all have different types of recovery. So being able to notice what type of stress you are and how you're burning out is really important for kind of remedying that and recovering from it. Okay, now I got to scroll back down. Netherlands. Okay, answered that one. Where are we? Hold on, 1 second. Increasing stamina. All right, man. I feel like this is an easy one. Increasing stamina. We need to increase our our aerobic capacity. So in that terms, we're looking at basically just increasing the capacity of our heart and ability to maintain endurance and stamina. So ways you can do that, really simple: cardiac threshold, cardiac output training, which just means 25 to 35 minutes at of an exercise at a consistent heart rate of roughly 135 to 150 BPM. It could be running, swimming, cycling, shadowboxing, skipping, all those things. Do that 3 times a week. Your stamina will improve. When am I going back to Soma? I am going back on Monday, 31st of October. I am flying back to Bali, so I'll be back in Soma on the 1st of November. I will see you there. Is your footwork the most important thing in boxing? Well, yeah, it's one of the most important things, 100%. Think about it. Without footwork, you are literally standing still, which is not good for any form of fighting. If you're not moving and you don't understand where, how, and why you're moving, you're effectively a heavy bag. Your footwork is what's going to dictate your range. Like I said this the other day in a video where I said, like, a lot of people will just say you have to sit and work on your timing. Now, first off, to work on timing, we need to understand our distance, and our distance is set by our footwork. So if I don't understand my distance with my footwork, what exactly am I trying to time? Having good footwork will improve so many other aspects of your training. This is why it's important to actively train and focus on where, why, and how your feet are moving in what direction. Hey, just moving from boxing to MMA. Started with an MMA coach to help me with my stance and kicks. Congratulations. Enjoy the ride. It's going to be a long one. Heavy bag training gives me sore elbows. Is there a reason why? Okay. Potentially, either you are hitting the bag too hard and you are trying to punch through the bag. So I actually have an ebook on this one. I might post the link for it afterwards. Tips on bag work, or making your bag work more effective. So one of the things, if your elbow starts to hurt, it's probably because, well, A, the bag is heavy, it's solid, and when you were connecting, you were trying to physically punch through it. Now, once again, this takes a lot of energy and it puts a lot more force into the elbow joints. So what you want to focus on doing is, rather than trying to, if the bag is here and trying to land all the way through, you want to stop on the point of impact. Okay, so it's about aiming where your shots are. In the same way, when it translates over to sparring, if the head's there, I just don't try and swing all the way through and move past it, because if I miss, I end up falling over. Okay, so I don't rely on that to hold me up. I'm aiming my punches. So I'm aiming the punch just there. Okay, whether it's the bag, the head, or the pad, I'm aiming onto that spot, and then I'm focusing on the retraction back. I'll get the maximum force at the end of that punch, and I'll also reduce the impact onto my elbow and the stress. And then once again, I'm focused on getting my hands back to the guard straight away. The only other thing I can think of is you are either overextending, or when you're punching, you're not aligned. So that means that when you punch, I can't move my arm back. So say for a hook, for example, okay, when I land a hook, I want to be in this position. So my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder are all in one line. If I start to hit here or here, now I'm creating extra stress onto the elbow or the shoulder. So a couple of tips there without any context for actually seeing what you're doing, but hopefully that helps. 5 weeks out from a boxing fight and have never boxed before, but have heaps of experience fighting in Taekwondo. Where do I start? Don't bounce your feet so much. And keep your hands up, because Taekwondo stance is very side on, hands down. It's a lot of rhythmic in and out. The rhythmic in and out might help you, but what you're going to need to do is, when you box, your power comes from your connection to the floor. So if your feet are consistently off the ground, you have no connection, you will have no power and balance when you start to throw punches. All right. Scrolling down. I like that. Defense. Miyagi defense, not be there. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh God, scrolling down. Wow, so many people. Have you ever had fighters in the ring with iron in their ankle, plates and screws? Do you recommend to let them get removed before intensive training? I feel like I'm not qualified enough to answer that one. That might be a doctor's or a physio question right there. I've never experienced it. Like, I've got titanium in my jaw from when I had my jaw broken after fighting, but that's a little bit different. That stays in there for life. It's holding my face together. But yeah, not really sure about like broken ankles and broken wrists when they've got plates inside. Dun, 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 dun. How do I get to the bottom? Jesus. OnlyFans. Seriously? No, I don't have that. Is throwing the jab the best defense, specifically if you have your right next to your chin? Is throwing the jab the best defense, specifically if you have your right next to your chin? Well, when you throw your jab, you should have your right next to your chin. Like, it's like one of our fundamental rules of punching is if one arm is punching, then the other arm is defending. It doesn't matter what punch it is. Or if I'm throwing a jab, a hook, or an uppercut, or the body shot, I want that right hand up nice and high. Because I definitely don't want to get caught sleeping when I throw the perfect punch, but this is just nowhere near it. And that person throws a perfectly timed hook inside of that, and I'm like, I've got nothing there to protect my face. Last line of defense is our hand positioning. So we've got to keep that opposite hand up nice and tight. One choice. Block, dodge, or rupture block. I got to be honest, that's the first time I've ever heard of rupture block. This goes back to our defense thing. There's three methods of defense. Footwork, hand positioning, head movement. You've got to be able to use all three. It's kind of cool. Oh, thank you. Love your video tutorials. Very helpful. I'm glad they help. Originally, the reason I started posting more content out there is I realized there was a limited amount of people that I could see in a gym or for personal training sessions. So my Instagram is just like kind of like my sort of not gift. That sounds cocky as shit. But I come from a martial arts background where there are a lot of people who spend a lot of time investing in my development and growth and never asked anything for it. Okay, it was just like kind of the martial arts way. It's like you gain all this knowledge from being involved, and then once you're at a stage where you have the ability to share that, then they just without asking, they will just give and give and give to the next, sort of like the next generation down to help them grow. So wonders of the internet now, because that wasn't really around when I was like 12. Is that I get to share all that stuff, and it's really just the things that we're doing in class. So it kind of gives you that feel of like what it's like to be in class at the gym at Soma, and it's just something that I really wanted to share with everyone, because if it helps one more person and one more person gets it clears up just that thing that they were stuck on. And then they get to go into their own training and use it. It's like, that makes me incredibly happy. At the end of the day, all I want to see people do is enjoy their training, feel motivated, feel inspired, and improving. Okay. I feel like I got to scroll down the bottom. There's a lot going on here. Oh, I got to scroll down to a question. Hold 1 second, guys. 1 second. You guys are asking things quicker than I can answer them. How do I avoid injury in my I feel like I covered that one. Oh, God, how do I fight off bears? Just track and field, baby. Track and field. Get those legs moving. How should a boxing technique-based workout look like? Well, it needs to be structured, it needs to have progressions, it needs to include footwork. Basically kind of what I put together for the last 12 months into our fundamentals program, which is once again launching this Friday. Sounds like a salesman, but it's true. But yeah, like a good technique-based workout is one that has good explanation. So first of all, you understand the technique that you're doing. It then has like a simple structure with lots of repetition, verbal cues to help you get through it, and then progressions from the drill. So it's not just about starting. So you don't work everything in one session. You want to allocate your focus to like kind of one area. So if you're working on moving forwards and backwards and throwing the jab, all right, that's where the primary focus of the lesson is. It's like we're just working on that focus, because that's how you get enough repetition within the one skill to see improvement. A lot of classes I've done in the past that I don't like is ones where we are on like we're just on a different page of the book every round. It's like we'll be working our block defense here, and now we're going down and we're doing weaves over there, and now we're going doing slips, and now we're going doing circling footwork, and then there's pivoting, and then there's check hooks, and then there's switch steps, and it's like it's like you have to be so advanced to be able to do all of that. So especially when you're starting out, one of the best things you can do is find consistent structure and just be like, yeah, cool, this week we're only working on this, and then this week, yeah, sweet, we're going to build from that. And now we're going to introduce these new skills, and now we're going to do it. Otherwise, the whole thing becomes overwhelming, and we end up with all these little mini bad habits because we never give the fundamentals enough time a day for them to set in and see the progression. So yeah, what does a boxing technique-based workout look like? Structured, repetition, and focused. Any advice for a woman wanting to try boxing for fun but finds it intimidating? Yes. Believe me, it's not intimidating when you get in there. The hardest part is walking through the door. If there is one thing that I have learned from martial arts gyms, in particular, it is that they are incredibly welcoming and open spaces. Everyone in there is so nice. They may sound aggressive, look aggressive, but they're really just a bunch of pussycats that are using boxing gloves to punch some pads. My advice is to go along and watch a session for the first time. So if you're intimidated about getting involved, go along and watch a class. Okay, just being there on the side and then getting the chance to watch people like have fun while they train will make it seem less intimidating, because it kind of removes that factor from it. It's not the unknown anymore. You're seeing it, you're watching it, you're kind of a part of it, but just on the outside. And like go and watch class, and that might immediately spark your inspiration to be like, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to show up and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can do it and you won't regret it. Okay, scrolling. How is the knee coming along? Oh, the knee is good. The knee is fantastic. Physio is really happy. Surgeon's really happy. I am back to, we just hit some really big PRs. With getting the knee back to full extension. At about 120, 130 degrees flexion, which is good, and hitting a 50 kilo like sit to stand squat and deadlift. So it's fantastic. It's just a lot of rehab that's going into it now. So still a long way to go, but very happy with the progress that it's done in the last 6 weeks. Oh God, just people joining. There we go. Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, hold please. I got the hold music in the background. Just turn the Odessa up. Starting that Wednesday, right? Oh, this is cool. Your email about finding your why in boxing hit me hard, and really got me thinking about what my why really is. That's awesome. That makes me really happy to hear, because I actually put a lot of time into writing and trying to structuring those emails, and I'm not very literate. Like, I was that kid in school that just left all the assignments till like the night before and then hoped I'd like passed. So I really, when I started sending out those emails, I wanted to think about kind of inspiring and getting people thinking about why they train, how they train, and how they go about doing it. So that's awesome. That makes me happy. Thank you. Where is your gym located? I teach at a gym called Soma Fight Club, and it is in Canggu, Bali. So you're going to have to get on a plane to come and train with us, but you won't regret it. It's fun, and you'll adapt to the weather eventually. Okay. What would you say martial arts has given you in your life that's not obvious? geez, where do I start with that one? I don't think I got long enough on this live. Main things it's given me is the biggest thing it's given me is just is confidence. 100% undoubtedly confidence, because martial arts puts you in so many uncomfortable situations where you have to kind of overcome, deal with that uncomfortable, step outside of your comfort zone, and then, you know, progress. So it's like, it's not even just progressing on the mats, it's progressing you forwards in every other aspect of your life. You take that confidence that you gain within the gym, and then you walk out into the world and you take it with you. Oh, I got more stuff. Jesus Christ, these are flying in. How do you find out if I'm a right or a lefty? What hand do you write with? It's simple as that. Have someone throw you a ball, and what hand do you catch it with? What hand do you throw it with? Okay, that's the simplest one in the world. So once you work out with your left-handed or right-handed, that'll tell you whether you're southpaw or orthodox, mostly because we want our dominant side on the rear. That's our power side. So for me, I'm right-handed, so I stand right hand back, orthodox stance. Leave it at one stance before you start trying to switch and learn both. Oh, you know, I'm from the Ukraine. Oh, cool. Welcome from Ukraine. What is the best way to improve the speed of your footwork? Okay, to improve the speed of your footwork, first you need to understand what the footwork is. So one of my favorite sayings is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Okay, it sounds contradictory, but you have to go slow and understand the movements in order to speed them up. If you try to speed them up too quick, what happens is we miss steps, we miss cues, and our footwork starts to fall apart. So make sure you understand it and then build the pace up slowly. That is going to be so important to developing some speed. When you see someone do something incredibly fast, it's because they took the time to go slow first, understand the movement, and then speed it up. For a beginner, how much boxing? For a beginner to boxing, how much training should one do a week? Depends on what your goals are and how much you enjoy it. Also, how much spare time you have. For a beginner, I'd say like between 2 and 3 times a week. If you stay at 1, then what happens is you're going to have like an entire week until you're kind of refreshing over what you've just done. So you're going to be spending a lot of time just catching up and remembering what you did last week. So at least 2 to 3, you know, a day in between to let the information sink in. And then obviously like build on that is going to give you a far greater progression than just going, say, like once a week as a beginner. Okay, hello from Indonesia. I want to ask, what is your big motivation to always training hard when you're tired? So when I'm training hard when I'm tired, I mean, it depends on what my goals are at the point. For me, like training is just, it's a ritual that I do. It's a habit. So when I don't feel motivated to train, I just fall back on the routine. It's like I have the routine that I go to training on these days at these times, and whether I'm motivated or not, you get in the habit of just showing up. You know, that's basically it. All right, dance break. Brian T City, bro. Okay. Are we at the bottom? We're at the bottom now. Oh, okay. So I probably missed some questions. I hope I haven't missed some questions. I'm trying to like just answer them off the bat quickly as they come through. So someone just said hello. Hello. We joined. If you have a question, ask it now. Don't be afraid. I'm caught up to the bottom of the chat now, so I can. I'm ready for new questions. What do we got? Probably got about another 10, 15 minutes before I got to get off and do a little bit of work. Remember that Boxing Fundamentals course is launching this Friday, and I do have something really special to announce. Is if you are on the subscriber list, we are going to give a massive $100 discount this weekend, but only to our subscribers for being so patient and waiting. So if you want that discount and you want the course, you've got to sign up to the link in the bio. Bum, 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 bum. Where are we going with this? Do you think at 22 it's too late to become a professional MMA fighter eventually? Well, I mean, hell, I didn't start MMA until I was 22. Still fought. I mean, I had a massive background in judo beforehand, which kind of like primed me and got me in martial arts. So I was been doing martial arts since I was 8 years old. But I didn't actually have my first MMA fight, like professional MMA fight, until I was 22, 23. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. It just depends on how much you train. Say you move to your right, do you have a preference of which punch you throw next? Is it usually the cross as the weight is on your right foot, and is it the same going left? Oh, that's actually a really good question. I like that. That tells me that you're thinking about where your body weight is. And it sort of depends. It sort of depends. Like, I want the weight, when I'm moving to the right, I want the weight in my right foot. If I'm slipping off the jab when I'm doing it and taking that step to the side and rolling the head off center, okay, I want weight in that right foot to be able to throw that right cross back. Sometimes there are going to be points where I'm just moving to my right to create an angle. I'm trying to get off center with the person in front of me. So I don't want to stand in this 50-50 like we're in direct traffic here. So you start moving to your right to take that slight angle. Now, as they turn, if I jump across and they turn, I've now got the opportunity, I can redirect my footwork and enter straight in. So there's multiple ways you can go. I want you to think about when you're moving, you've got the right idea where if I move to my left, the weight's in the left foot. If I move to my right, the weight's in my right foot. That's going to help you change direction and create momentum. It's going to give you more options to decide what you do with your footwork and your punching after that. Okay, I can't read that one. It's in Arabic. That's unfortunate. Can't read that one. That one's in a different language too. God damn. I don't think Google Translate works on Instagram. Did I miss one? I think I missed one. Hold 1 second. No, I didn't miss one. Okay, there's just more people joining. All right, guys, I got about 10 more minutes. So if you've got questions, fire them out. Oh, I've been sitting on my leg for half an hour and it just went numb. It's unfortunate. Let's give it that little shake. Don't worry, it wasn't the bad one. So I'm 26 and looking to get into MMA, but would love to do it professionally, but understanding my age, I'm not sure. Oh man, if you're looking to get into MMA, don't even worry about doing it professionally right now. Just think about your first session, all right? You're thinking about a goal that's like, if you're starting to get into it, don't think about professional fighting, because that's like going here to here, right? That's a big gap. There are so many more milestones along the way that you've got to achieve and you've got to get into. The most important thing, if you want to get to here, is that you've got to be enjoying your training to stay in it long enough to go through to that level. So man, just focus on getting involved, training, enjoying it. Set your first milestone as having your first sparring session, and then go from there. Because you might have your first sparring session and be like, oh, no, I don't like this at all. You know, so it's like there's so many things along the way between like just starting out and fighting professionally. So like, man, just enjoy the journey. It's a long one. Do I teach the cross to the body when teaching pad work? Lots of people teach a jab to the body, but I've noticed hardly anyone does the cross. Yeah, I love a cross to the body. I mean, you shouldn't, like, the levels on punches, we throw levels on our jabs a lot more because our jab's the primary setup. We're using it to measure range, but you got to be able to like bring that right hand down to the body. One of my favorite combinations is a simple jab to the head, cross down to the body, and then bringing the left hook back up over the top. So we're just trying to get that person's guard lifted up, draw the elbows down with a body shot, create that space to hit the left hook over the top, man. So that's one of my favorite combos, just basic 1 head, 2 body, 3 over the head. Any tips for productive shadow boxing? I always feel so tense and stupid. Dude, that's perfectly understandable. Shadow boxing doesn't make a lot of sense when you first do it, and it's just about repetition and thinking about what you're doing. So tips that I can give you is just pick simple combinations to start. So don't try and overcomplicate it. Stand there and being like, there's too many options on the table. Have a specific combination in mind that you're trying to get some reps in. So it could just be landing a perfect jab, cross hook, and then rolling out. All right, so make that your focus for the round. Now, in between hitting that jab, cross hook, what I want you to do, set your feet, utilize a little bit of footwork, and just use a simple jab. Jab to the head, jab to the body. Just work on filling space with your jab like you would do in a sparring match to then set up the combination and then practice your exit. So there we go. Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Focus on one thing. The more reps you put in on specific combinations, the easier it will be to go through and flow shadow box. Because the problem we have is when you go, you can do everything, is we haven't put enough repetition into single specific combinations to then in order go free flow. So get your time in doing specific combos, one combo a round, multiple rounds, okay? And then you've got some reps in the bank that you can start to pull out when you shadow box. And if you don't know what combinations to use while you're shadow boxing, the good news is the Boxing Fundamentals course is launching on Friday, which has 250 drills in it across 8 weeks, just to handle that for you. If you don't know what to do, there you go. I'm Brazilian. I love all your videos and the combinations are amazing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of questions about this body cross. Do you just let them hit the back of your hand if you're holding mitts or holding body shots, even with a cross? I wear a belly pad, so I just let people hit the belly pad. There's 2 ways to hold it. You either like take your hand, you put it like this, or you get really good at your timing and placement and you do it with a rear hand like this. There we go. Bum, bum. Tips for quicker recovery. Sleep, eat a good diet. Everyone wants to get massages and ice baths and all this thing, and the king of recovery is literally just 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. Your body prepares itself while you sleep. So that should be your first priority, is making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you're eating good food, and making sure that you're getting enough sleep. Oh. Okay, team, have about 5 more minutes. So any final questions coming through? I just started sparring and really have a hard time keeping the focus once I'm under pressure. Any tips? Yes, spend lots of time doing defense reactive drills with your partner. So if you're getting tense in a sparring situation because punches are coming towards you, it just means that you're not comfortable in that scenario yet. So what you can do is, I spoke about this earlier, is get with a partner and start working your defense on simple combinations. So you get used to punches coming towards your face and therefore it becomes less intimidating. Take that back into sparring, you should feel more comfortable. Who is my favorite fighter? It depends on what, what we're talking about. We're talking about MMA, we're talking about boxing, we're talking about Muay Thai. I'm patriotic, so when it comes to MMA, I'd say like some of my favorite fighters are Alex Volkanovski, because, Australian, and he's a badass, and I feel like he was so underrated and underappreciated for so long, just out there on like a 7-5 winning streak as a champion. Everyone's like, who's Alex Volkanovski? So I don't think the man gets enough love. I'm really looking forward to him fighting for the lightweight belt coming up soon. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to answer these questions. It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining in. I wasn't expecting anyone to join in, but here we go. MMA or kickboxing? I prefer MMA. I love both. I love all forms of martial arts. I can really geek out and get into just boxing, which is what I've done recently. I can really geek out and just spend a lot of time doing kickboxing and Muay Thai. And then what happens is when I go back and do MMA, I get to bring all those things together. So it's like, you've got to, I appreciate all the martial arts individually. I wouldn't necessarily say that there's one that's better than the other. It's just, when you look at it from a fundamental basis, there's things that translate and move across all of them. So if you come at it with that mindset, it's just fun to do them all. Yeah, I struggle with a lot of balance when I do a hook. Can't put force into it. Any help? 100%. This is actually something that I cover in the fundamentals course a lot, which is all about our weight transfer and pulling the shoulder back on punches. So if you're losing balance when you're throwing a left hook or a lead hook, it's usually because the weight is coming forwards into the shot. So rather than trying to bring from this position when I've finished my cross, trying to bring this shoulder forwards, all you got to do is focus on bringing the right shoulder back. Now, if I focus on pulling this punch back, sinking weight into the rear leg, it's going to keep me much more upright when I swing through onto that shot. I'm getting the weight transfer front to back and left to right, which is what gives me the power, and that keeps me more balanced. It also loads that arm ready to fire again. So there we go. Like I said, that is something like weight transfer is one of those all important fundamental principles and something we cover and remind so much in the fundamentals program that is launching this Friday. So I have time for 2 more questions. Two more questions. Where were we? I think I saw 2 of them there. Hey, Alex will be champ next year. Damn right he will. Thank you for answering my question. Oh, okay. All right. Let's go one more question, guys. One more question, and then I'm out. Thank you guys so much for joining. This has been a blast. It's been really fun. Little dance break. Just waiting for one more question to come through. Little Odessa in the background. Oh. Someone just put an arrow. Best advice for finding the best gyms. Finding the best gyms, you're just gonna have to try them out. I mean, you go on reputation. Do they have if you're looking at it to do it professionally, do they have a fight team? What does their training program look like? Who are their coaches? Literally go in and watch sessions. Go in and watch, be inquisitive, and don't be afraid to try it and realize it's not for you and walk away and find somewhere different. At the end of the day, if you're looking to do this and looking to grow and be at a high level, you got to be looking for a place that is going to provide growth for you. So that's sort of what you look for in a gym. All right, one more. Aaron Mack, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Oi. Oop. There we go. All right. Well, I feel like we've gotten through what's the best way to avoid drinking alcohol? Glass of water. Enjoying the rest of your day. Hope you get a chance to train with you. That's awesome. I hope so too. All right, team. We're going to wrap it up just there. We've done about 45 minutes now, so that's a lot of questions. I got some things to get on with. So once again, just want to say thank you for joining in. Thank you for asking questions. It was a pleasure to jump in and answer some of them for you. Just reminding you guys, Boxing Fundamentals course is launching this Friday with a massive $100 discount to our subscriber list, but that is only exclusive to the people on the list. So if you want to get that discount, jump into the link in the bio and sign up to the email list, and we'll send you one out, okay? So other than that, guys, have an amazing day. This has been a pleasure. Take care. How do I exit? Oops. This one.